Okay, let's move on to Niners -6.5, -7, whatever line you find. In Seattle, 63% of the bets on the Niners, 82% of the money on the Niners as well. 10,000 bets in.
Do you think it is interesting that this game and the two before it all have totals above 42 when we've seen the totals be so low all season long, some of like historically low totals? And like you take just a quick scroll through all the games, I see 5-6 other games with a total higher than 42 right now. But all three of the Thanksgiving games all have a total higher than 42. And the only reason I say 42 is just 6 touchdowns. Like that's like the magic number too for long teasers and all of that. Like it's kind of been a mark that I've watched as like, is the total above 42 or not for a lot of these games, because it's so unusual that this season, especially, but also last season, totals are trended that way. But yet we've got 3 Thanksgiving games where a lot of people are going to be betting. A lot of people are going to be betting these games, and all the totals are high. I'm just saying, put my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the books are seeing something. I mean, these matchups are a bit weird. You've got divisional matchups, and you still got these higher totals. I mean, everything that we've talked about today so far is divisional, but there's a lot of divisional games this week. So that's curious to me, where you always see lower totals in those games. For this one particularly, I lean over, but the money, I mean, public and money are both on the under here, 84%, 88%. Which, yeah, I mean, the Niners look like they can steamroll any team. And now the Seahawks are coming off a barely losing the game against the Rams, right? So 17 points or whatever, 16. They didn't score a lot. Their offense doesn't necessarily look like it's back. Now they got to play the divisional Niners defense, where it's one of those, everyone owns Pete Carroll type of matchups, and McCaffrey's back, and Debo's back, and Trent Williams is back. And yes, the Niners defense played really well, but it was the Buccaneers, and the Bucs looked like they were driving a lot, and there were a lot of opportunities for the total to go over in the Bucs Niners game. Just the game script kind of felt like the Bucs had to keep scoring touchdowns, and then the Niners prevented them from scoring touchdowns. So there's a lot of I felt like the Bucs were moving the ball very easily, which I did not expect, which is why I took the under. So now it worries me to try and back another under in a Niners game where it doesn't necessarily look like their defense is playing up to their standards. And now you got a divisional game, teams that have a lot of history with each other. Geno doesn't look great. I don't know if I could back the 6.5 on the road here for the Niners. I kind of like the Seahawks. Yeah, and yes, I like all the dogs. I don't. I guess I got like all the dogs today.
I don't. I have the Niners. I locked into my early best bets article that went out last night. Be sure to check it out at happyhoursports.net. I detail a lot of why I like it, especially with the whole Debo and Trent Williams factor. They've looked like a completely different team the last 2 games. Now that they're back, and they came off their bye week a lot more rested and recovered. Brock Purdy broke a record for highest QBR, I think, since the 60s or something like that yesterday.
That's wild.
That's wild. It's insane. The Niners have beaten the Seahawks the last 3 times out.
Yeah.
So, again, you can see my reasoning for the Niners play on Happy Hour Sports, but I want to conclude the point I was making about the high totals. You know how when you go home for Thanksgiving on Wednesday night, it's when everyone gets together, goes to the local bar. That's the pros' night for drinking. I consider New Year's Eve to be the amateur night for drinking. That's when people go out that don't normally drink. You don't want to drive because there's going to be some amateur drunk drivers. There's a lot of risk in driving. I think this is betting on Thanksgiving is flip-flopped, where this is when the amateurs are going to be coming out. You're going to be sitting around having awkward conversations with your family. It's a lot of people that you haven't seen in a long time, and you're going to want to bet on it. You're going to want to bet on the game so you have at least something to talk about with them that's not awkward, and that's why the totals are higher. So I'm not going to be looking at many of these totals to go over. In fact, I really like the under in this one because I don't think the Seahawks are going to score that many points. Kenneth Walker went out last night, and I don't know if he's going to play. It doesn't seem like he's going to. Geno Smith says he might. He went back into the game and finished it out in the game that they lost. But I don't know if he does play, it's going to be not at 100%. And do you really want to back Drew Lock if he has to come back in going up against the Niners defense? I don't personally. So I'm all over the Niners here. I have them for a unit at -6.5. I thought I was getting a good number, but it has not moved as much as I thought over the last 24 hours since I placed it. But we'll see again. I mean, we'll see if that's the case when Thursday rolls around. But all three of these games, I lean the under just because I think that they purposely are setting a trap in Vegas by setting these totals higher than what we've typically seen this season. And all three are divisional games.
Oh, yeah, you're kind of convincing me on the Niners and the under. The Niners are just going to be way better, and especially with the questions at quarterback for the Seahawks, there's honestly no point to say that the Seahawks are going to score any points, especially when they only put up 16 against the Rams. So I like the under, especially with the total moving down. I think it opened at 40 or 44.5 or 44. So look to the under there. I'm not going to say I'll take it right now. Give me the under 43.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My podcast play. I don't know. I haven't had a podcast play in a while, but I'm due. That's what it means. I'm due.
I'm due.
Positive on the year, but due.
I saved at least one for the podcast, and I was thinking about writing last night, but I wanted to give a good play, which you'll be surprised about when we get there. But
okay,
it is on the Sunday slate, and we still have one more. We've got the Friday game here, so
wow. All right, 16 games, Andy. We got through it all. Thursday night, hopefully everyone can spend some great time with their family. Thank you for checking us out. As always, this is Sharpen the Public, the only sports betting podcast focused on leveraging public betting information so we can win more bets in the NFL. We're the only people that really track it like this. We talk about how the public does every week. We update you every week on the trends and money and sharps and all that fun stuff. So thank you for checking us out. If you have any questions, reach out to us on Twitter at DJH Sports or at AndyHH Sports. We have weekly articles, NFL, NBA, anything you name it, all sports
MMA.
betting related. MMA, anything sports betting related, we've got it. We are your guys at happyhoursports.net. Thank you again, as always.
Again, excited to take a little time off, spend some time with the family, and hope you all are too. But again, we'll be active on Twitter throughout the holidays. I know I will be. So stay tuned. Make sure to follow us at Deej HH Sports and at Andy HH Sports, because we'll be tweeting out plays for Thanksgiving as well as for the Black Friday and Sunday games. So can't wait, man. It's going to be nice to be home and relax for a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like I did last year, I'll have a Thanksgiving Day article as well as a Sunday article. So expect 2 plays or posts from me this week, always with all my plays tracked as I do every week. So you can check all that stuff out on happyhoursports.net. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Please subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow here. We're getting a few comments here and there, so appreciate you guys all coming out and supporting us. And yeah, we appreciate it as always. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family. But we will see you in the next one.
Peace, guys. The boys bet better with beer.